In the previous section, we explored the boundaries of a licensee's professional competence and the responsibility to refrain from offering services beyond their expertise. This next section builds upon that foundation by examining the requirements and expectations placed upon Arizona real estate professionals when they choose to expand or engage in areas outside their current experience, such as moving from residential sales to commercial, land, or property management transactions. While Arizona law encourages professional growth, it also demands that licensees take proper steps to ensure competency, supervision, and compliance before engaging in any new specialty within the real estate field. Under Commissioner's Rule R4-28-1101H, a licensee shall not act in a capacity that requires expertise beyond their competence unless they obtain the necessary assistance of a qualified professional. This rule applies not only to individual advice, but also to entire transaction types that require specialized knowledge. For instance, a residential salesperson accustomed to single-family listings who wishes to begin handling commercial leases must first acquire the knowledge, training, and mentorship necessary to perform those services competently. Simply holding a real estate license does not automatically grant authority to practice in every field of real estate. The Arizona Department of Real Estate, ADRE, holds licensees to a professional standard that requires reasonable skill and care under R4-28-1101A-, meaning that competence must be demonstrated, not assumed. In real-world practice, this often occurs when a licensee ventures into new areas like business brokerage, subdivided land sales, or property management. For example, if a residential agent decides to take on a commercial retail lease assignment, the agent should not proceed independently unless they have either completed specialized training or are under the direct supervision of a broker experienced in commercial leasing. Engaging in complex transactions without proper understanding can result in errors that harm clients and expose the licensee to liability under ARS. Section 32-2153A3 for incompetence or misrepresentation. One of the most effective ways to engage in real estate outside one's field of expertise is through broker supervision and collaboration. A designated broker has both the authority and the duty to ensure that every licensee affiliated with their brokerage is properly trained and supervised for the type of transactions they perform. According to R4-28-1103A, brokers must establish and enforce written policies and procedures to ensure compliance with state law. Therefore, when a licensee takes on unfamiliar work, such as a land development deal, agricultural transaction, or industrial property lease, the broker should provide mentorship, review all documentation, and verify that the licensee's conduct aligns with the standards of practice for that area. For example, if a salesperson primarily experienced in residential home sales receives an opportunity to assist a developer in selling multiple parcels of vacant land, the correct course of action would be to seek guidance from their broker or co-list the property with a licensee who specializes in land sales. This approach ensures that all disclosures, zoning regulations, subdivision laws, and public report requirements under ARS Title 32, Chapter 20, Article 4 are properly handled. Attempting to conduct such transactions without guidance could lead to violations, particularly if the licensee is unaware of the need for a public report or fails to recognize the restrictions under ARS. Section 32-2181 regarding unreported subdivisions. In some cases, expanding expertise may require formal education or certification. For instance, a licensee moving into property management must understand the trust account and record-keeping requirements under ARS. Paragraph 32-2171 through 32-2176, and the obligations regarding security deposits and tenant funds. Completing ADRE approved continuing education courses, earning professional designations, or shadowing an experienced manager are recommended steps before taking on such assignments. The law does not forbid licensees from expanding their practice. It requires that they do so with adequate preparation and supervision to protect the public and maintain professional competence. Another important consideration is representation and disclosure. When working outside one's typical field, a licensee must always be transparent with clients about their level of experience. For example, if an agent handling their first commercial transaction fails to inform the client that they lack prior experience, that omission may be viewed as deceptive under ARS Section 32-2153, A3 and R4-28-1-101H. The client must be given the opportunity to make informed decisions, including whether to proceed with that licensee or seek additional representation. The Arizona courts have consistently reinforced that honesty about expertise is part of a licensee's fiduciary and ethical obligation. In Lombardo v. Albu, 1996, the court emphasized that real estate professionals owe clients reasonable skill and care in all dealings. This includes the responsibility to recognize one's limitations and seek expert guidance when necessary. A failure to do so can lead to claims of negligence or breach of fiduciary duty if the client suffers financial harm due to the agent's inexperience. Review summary. Engaging in real estate activities outside one's field of expertise requires both preparation and honesty. Licensees must not undertake specialized transactions without sufficient knowledge, training, or supervision, as required by R4-28-1-101H. They should seek broker oversight, collaborate with experienced professionals, and disclose any lack of experience to their clients. The ADRE expects licensees to maintain reasonable skill and care under R4-28-1101A and to comply with their broker's supervision policies under R4-28-1103A. By pursuing education, mentorship, and full disclosure, licensees can safely expand their practice while maintaining the trust and protection of their clients. Discussion prompts. What should a licensee do before taking on a transaction outside their field of experience? Answer: they should consult their designated broker, seek guidance from an experienced professional, and obtain the necessary training to ensure compliance and competence. Why is broker supervision essential when engaging in unfamiliar transaction types? Answer: because under R4-28-1103A, the broker is responsible for ensuring compliance, protecting clients, and preventing violations by providing oversight and mentorship. What are the potential consequences of failing to disclose a lack of experience to a client? Answer: the licensee may face disciplinary action for misrepresentation or incompetence under ARS Section 32-2153, A3, and could be held civilly liable for damages if the client suffers loss. Closing remarks. Expanding into new areas of real estate can be both rewarding and professionally enriching, but it must be done with care, honesty, and adherence to the law. Competence is not measured by a license alone, but by a licensee's willingness to learn, prepare, and seek guidance when needed. Arizona's real estate regulations are designed not to restrict opportunity, but to protect the public from uninformed or negligent practices. The most successful real estate professionals understand that true expertise comes from education, collaboration, and the humility to recognize their limits.